Brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
With the 56th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Nate Borkacher, tight end, Texas A&M.
Ruff comes, Reed pumps, fires. It is caught. Nate Borkacher brings it in and ties the game.
With the 81st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Albert Regis, defensive tackle, Texas A&M.
That's where I want to be. Like, I just loved the way the team played, the way the defense played, and I just knew it was a scheme that I could fit in. And then when I finally did a Zoom with them and went over some plays and got to understand their defense, I just knew that's where I wanted to be. And like, I knew I would thrive best in this defense.
With the 88th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Jacksonville Jaguars select Emmanuel Pregnon, guard from Oregon.
Coming out of high school, I wasn't very heavily touted. I wasn't looked at, but I didn't let that discourage me. I knew that it was work to be done. Work needed to be put in, and I was willing and ready to do whatever I needed to do to get the exposure that I needed so I could do my part on the field.
With the 100th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Jalen Husky, defensive back from Maryland.
Going with tempo, now going down the middle of the field, and it's going to be intercepted. Jalen Husky still on his feet.
The 119th pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, Wesley Williams from Duke.
Pressure coming, and sacked. Brought down at the 21 by Wesley Williams.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Tanner Kuzil, tight end, Houston. Duval!
Pressure again. Kuzil again.
With the 191st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Josh Cameron, wide receiver, Baylor.
Robertson, the slant to Cameron, stays on his feet and walks right in, right around Mello Dotson.
With the 203rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select C.J. Williams, wide receiver, Stanford.
Going to the end zone, and Williams, he's got him! Touchdown, Cardinals!
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Zach Durfee, defensive end, Washington. Go Jags!
At the 13 on second down, and Zach Durfee got to Snyder!
Well, if there was ever a time the Huskies needed a big play, let's take a look at Durfee coming off the edge.
With the 240th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Parker Hughes, linebacker, Middle Tennessee.
He's somebody who can run very fast, find the football, track it down, and get ball carriers on the ground is going to be really helpful to our cause.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Jacksonville Jaguars on the field right now. Mandatory minicamp. Wonder what the weather's like over at the Miller Electric Center, Tone. A little gloomy around the 1010XL studios this morning. How are you?
Cloudy at a minimum would be my guess.
I would think, right? I mean, it does look a little bit cloudy out there, but apparently things are underway and practicing with no setbacks. By the way, I'm over the whole damn sling thing, man. I can't type 5 words. Because you got to, put in passwords. You got to, this one's a capital letter, so I got to hold the shift key and I'm doing everything left-handed. I am over it completely. So it took me all of 3 days back at work to be ticked off about the whole situation, and really not enthused whatsoever about being one-handed for the remainder of June, but it is what it is, I suppose. So Jags on the field. It looked like I saw some 1010XL social media posts. Looks like a banner crowd out there. So I don't know how well the ticket sales are going or not for the regular season, but I know this. They'll pack the Miller Electric Center for an open practice.
No doubt. So the fans showed up today with the one opportunity to see him before we get to training camp, and we'll see how many of the days at training camp are going to be open to the public. I imagine a bunch, right, for the fans to be able to get out there and see what the team looks like.
10 or 12, something like that.
Yeah, something in that kind of area. And it makes sense. Like the building they have now is kind of built for them to do this. Right?
Sure.
Like they can actually just bring them in and say, hey, go sit up in the stands that we built for everybody to come watch practice, for the Jaguars out there. So it's nice, the Miller Electric Center, the opportunities to have the fans out there. It's OTAs, so you're only seeing what you're seeing, at a practice like this, but still your first opportunity to see the 2026 Jags.
Yeah, and very interesting. A lot of interesting comments yesterday from Liam Cohen, Grant Udinski, Robert Hainsey, all speaking after practice. We're going to hear from all of those guys throughout the course of the show today. If we get a few minutes, we'll have Tom McManus join us before his show later on this afternoon with Helmets and Heels, but he's out there at practice. 11-on-11s are going on right about now. Jeff said he saw somebody on the text line indicate that first however many reps, most of them resulted in a heavy rush on Trevor Lawrence, would have been sacked a bunch of times. Is that good or bad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the answer to that is, right? We always want more pass rush. Where's the pass rush going to come from? Then it shows up, then it's a catastrophe of the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
How can we possibly operate our offense if we can't block these guys? I have no idea what it means. You know what I mean? I think you kind of want it to balance out a little bit. I'd want the offensive line to win it more than not, but I want to see Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker and company flash in the backfield. Now, if you're getting and it's usually ones versus ones out there. So you're not going to see, Zach Durfee beating Harrison or the starting offensive tackles.
Yeah,
for
I
this
know
team.
at least on the first kind of series they were doing, which was Red Zone 11-on-11, I saw that the first defensive stop was on a play where it read like Josh Hines Allen would have had a sack on the play. Right, is the way that it read, and it wound up being an incomplete pass is what the ultimate result of the play was. Like, it's a practice where they still kind of let him finish the play, even if the defensive player wins on the rep, that kind of thing. But it can throw off the timing, obviously, of what's going on out there. So it does sound like, at least this morning with the fans in attendance for the first time, the early 11-on-11 results have been the defense has won the day. That doesn't mean that they've won the whole month, of these guys being out there and doing these kind of drills in practice, but it does sound like they won at least the early part of the team drills today. So I chalk all this stuff up kind of in my head to it just means that it is. It doesn't have to mean anything, right? Like, it's one day of practice.
It means something, though, to the coaching staff. We just, it's hard to dissect exactly the importance, because what is the emphasis that they're placing on any particular plays and what they're trying to accomplish on that. Somebody on the text line said, is there a Borkature injury? We're not there, man. I don't know. I said he's not running routes and he had his ankle taped up. Yikes. Guess what? You're not going to learn anything about it from Liam Cohen. He's not going to tell you much when it comes to injuries.
He had been carrying that from a couple weeks ago, whatever was going on with him, right?
So you'd still, on a day where it's the only open practice, you'd like to see your first overall draft pick from this class, at least,
no doubt,
be out there representing. So it's tough to know, What's up, RJ? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. But you talk about, everybody being concerned about the offense, at least for today. Now you have updates coming around that there was a spectacular deep ball thrown by Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr., who caught it, I believe, over Jarian Jones, and people saying that, put on a little show for the fans there. So, I mean, it feels like it's going to be the ebbs and flows as we continue towards the regular season, that maybe, the defense may look better early on. We'll see some shots and flashes from the offense. It's going to kind of go back and forth with this team.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. And the key is don't get too worked up. Most of it has been positive vibes. I don't think Liam Cohen is a sunshine pumper. He's not. He'll tell you that the last year running game stunk. There was a stink to it. He's talked about, Anton Harrison can go when he wants to. Those kind of things. He is ready to put it out there and be a little bit crass, not crass, but you know what I mean, a little bit blunt with his criticism of the team. So there's been a lot of positivity, including coming from his mouth. So I'm going to go on that more than anything. But again, I'm a sunshine pumper to some degree. I want to see the best in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, we're not watching. We can't see anything. We didn't see anything. I wasn't out there. I'd typically be out there for the first hour of a minicamp practice, but conditions being what they are, wasn't going to work out. And by the way, they do have an OTA next week, and you'll hear Liam Cohen talk about that. They wanted to ramp it up high this week, but not have that be and then fall off and do nothing until training camp. So they'll kind of ease them into their off-season break coming up. Text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. By the way, you can get in on that at 641-1010, same as the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Dempsey Kaplan did my shoulder surgery years ago. He is the best. Speedy recovery. We're basically one step closer to being Jags players now. That's a positive win. Now, that's a sunshine pumper for you right there. I figured if Trevor Lawrence had a shoulder issue and they could trust Dr. Kaplan to take care of it or whatever issues they have, that's good enough for me, and that's why I went with him as well. So I'm not complaining about the procedure. I'm complaining about the rehab and everything that comes with it, and the immobilization of the right arm as a right-hander. Not the ideal situation to be in. All right, you got the numbers to interact with the show if you want to today, but we got a ton of audio, so you can sit back and enjoy. We're going to start off with some William Cohen, Grant Udinsky. Heavy on the offense in the first hour, had some really interesting stuff to say about Eric Murray, I thought, yesterday, the head coach did. So we'll get into that as well. Stream the program on YouTube, X, on Facebook, on 1010XL.com. The apps are out there. It's all over the place. You can get it anywhere. And, oh, by the way, you can get this show in your car on the radio. It's still a radio show, so you've got that option. Not all shows have that option, I hear, and that's probably why we crush them in terms of listenership, but that's, just according to the raw facts. Anyway, all that taken care of. Hit us up on the socials at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at R has no J. Here we go. Jags minicamp. We'll get a report from Tommy Mack. Hopefully everybody will be mostly healthy coming out of the day today. And we'll talk minicamp for the next 2 hours here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Dan Hicken.
You just happen to have one of those jobs. It's difficult to
believe that a grown man does without losing his mind.
Mornings on the Drill.
What is my job?
On 1010XL.
Where's my work? It's air.
Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why we are North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. KeyBuickGMC.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday.
On Jaguars Today.
The new MVP of lunch has arrived. Firehouse Subs Steak and Cheese Melt. USDA Choice Flame-Seared Steak. Sauteed red and green bell peppers. Caramelized onions. Melted provolone cheese. And mayo on a toasted sub roll. Steak and Cheese Melt only at Firehouse Subs.
Surely. You've heard of John Osher.
That's obvious.
Find out what he's heard about your favorite football team.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Listen for Jacksonville's senior writer weekdays on 1010XL. Served up by Twin Peaks.
This Father's Day, get Dad on the water with Green Acres Sporting Goods. If he fishes in Northeast Florida, this is where he goes. Rods, reels, tackle, bait, and all the gear he actually uses. Not sure what to get Dad? Grab a Green Acres gift card in any amount and let him decide. Shop Father's Day at Green Acres Sporting Goods. In store or online at greenacresporting.com.
Summer is made for road trips, beach days, and family vacations. Before you hit the road, make sure your vehicle is ready at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Their trusted technicians can handle your oil change, fluids, filters, and more, all while you stay comfortably in your vehicle. No appointment needed. With convenient locations, a 4.7-star national rating, and named #1 quick lube for customer service by Forbes, it's easy to see why drivers choose Valvoline. Get road trip ready today at Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Homeowners running out of space in your kitchen, closets bursting at the seams, or maybe your bathroom just feels outdated and cluttered. At Harvest Construction and Remodeling, custom cabinets are what they do best. Owner Scott spent years as the main cabinet installer for one of the region's largest big box retailers. As a family man growing his own business, he brings that experience directly to homeowners like you. They'll create beautiful storage solutions that improve look, feel, and function. Visit harvestrenovations.com.
License number CRC 1331012.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Preparation for the season begins now. 1010XL's coverage of this year's organized team activities is brought to you by Cash Building Material, Windows Done Right, and Dexafit Jacksonville. Know your body, transform your life.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, here we go. Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and RJ Saunders here with you for the next couple of hours. Minicamp. So I would imagine a lot of our listening audience is tuned in right now to what's happening on the field. So we'll pick them up in hour number 2 as they're getting out of there. And, at any point, if you want to get in and join the conversation, you know how to do it at 641-1010. So somebody said, hey, if Borkature, this is a text line, Tony, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, if Borkature is injured, then Koziol's first-team reps obviously increase. Yes? I mean, let's just calm down on the whole situation. First of all, first team, Nate Borkature's not on the first team, in my opinion. I don't think their base personnel package is 12 or 13. So Brenton Strange is first team tight end. When they go to a bigger package, like he's first team in 12 personnel, Koziol is not the same kind of tight end as Nate Borkature. I don't know if you, I'm not sitting here saying yes or no either way, but I could see a world where Quentin Morris plays more, particularly between the 20s, if Nate Borkature missed a couple of games, and you needed a guy to fulfill his role, because from what I understand, the Jags are enamored with Koziol's red zone efficiency, his potential, and you'll hear Liam Cohen talk about that. But I heard that, let's put it this way, there was a lot of work to do. I'm putting it as nicely as possible. Yeah. There was a lot of work to do in the blocking aspect of the tight end position from Nate Koziol. They basically saw him right now as a guy who could grow into that, but he is a glorified big receiver on the football field right now. He's not really a two-way tight end or close to being that yet.
I think he is exactly the type of player at that position that's going to shine more right now than he will when we get to training camp in July. Right? Like once they start
pads go
really
on, it gets physical and you got to push people around.
Like that's the real eval of what kind of impact he's going to have in the offense this year is what happens when the pads come on for him.
But I think he'll be fine because when they use him when the pads come on, I think they're going to use him inside the 20.
Yeah, it's going to be in space. It's going to be, red zone, that kind of thing. That's going to be the situations that he's going to play a bunch. So as far as, him getting more tight end 1 reps, okay. Like this time of year, whatever that means.
It's not real. Yeah. And again, tight end 1 is Brenton Strange. And even if they play a lot of 13 personnel, 12 personnel, it's going to be less than 50% of the time.
Yep.
So they're not going to be out there with 2 tight ends always. That's not the new look of the offense. They have too many good pass-catching wide receivers to take those guys off permanently. Anyway, let's get into the offensive side, what Liam Cohen had to say. I was going to skip this. I went through and I watched the press conference, and, I get the cut sheet. Our producers do a great job. RJ, JJ, all the J's. We're cutting up all the sound. And so I look and I want to listen to, okay, here's the question as it's posed, or here's the item on the cut sheet. Now, let me listen to the press conference and see if it makes sense to use that or not, right? Is it that compelling? And typically at this point, Liam Cohen's not going to say a whole lot about injuries, but he did say something interesting in this, and we'll let you hear when he was asked about what kind of update he can get on the banged-up guys.
Chris will be full go, come training camp. Cole's a part of that same process of, might be a little bit longer in training camp. We'll have to see. But Travis, I know he ran 22.6 this morning outside here. And, he was talking a lot of smack to Chris Bach and the athletic trainers. And, I mean, he's worked his tail off. I got to give a lot of credit to our strength staff.
Yeah, look, at first when I heard that, I was like, 22.6, what the hell is he talking about? He's talking about miles per hour is what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You compare that is comparable to like the top times people run annually in the National Football League. I'll look it up. I haven't looked it up. I should have to see what the fastest speed was that anybody clocked last year. And he's not going to be specific about the nature of injuries, but it's good to hear him definitively say Chris Rodriguez will be ready for training camp. It sounds like Cole Van Lanen's going to be a little bit longer, which as Mike DeRocco told us months ago, it was an ACL injury, would make sense that it's going to take a while for him. He didn't do it until the very beginning of the calendar year.
Yeah, looking at the top speed, by the way, just pulled it up. Isaiah Rodgers at 23.32.
Okay.
As a corner. Last year for Minnesota, that's probably on a special teams play, potentially there for him. And the top ball carrier was Jonathan Taylor, who hit 22.38.
So faster than the fastest person with a ball in their hands last year. Now, granted, he's just out there running sprints.
He's just running, yeah.
It's not in full pads or anything like that. But if you're concerned about Travis Hunter's knee, I'm going to say if they're letting him open up the throttle to 22.6 miles per hour, Tony, they're not that concerned about his knee.
They could probably, like if we were actually getting ready for a game week, that Hunter would be fully participating in practice now.
Right. He might be listed as probable or something like that.
But they're not going to push anything with him, this time of year for a mandatory mini camp kind of environment. But it does sound like he's going to be full go or close to it once we get into training camp here in a few weeks.
I don't need to see him right now.
No, it's all good. Whatever that looks like is just fine. We know last year with Liam Cohen, with the new head coach coming in, they had extra time on the field, right? They got that extra week or two to work with the guys as a new coaching staff. You just mentioned a moment ago that they do have more kind of OTA practices next week because they wanted to kind of ramp down as opposed to just end it after the week of mandatory minicamp. And Coach Cohen yesterday was asked about a little bit of the offseason schedule that they had in place for these guys.
Giving the guys like a week, this is a little bit more competitive time with the Mamba periods being involved, and just wanted to give us maybe a week away from this in terms of the big picture of it from an off-season standpoint of rest and recovery. Next week, like you mentioned, will be a little bit toned down. We'll only be on the grass for about an hour and 15 minutes. Heavy emphasis on the pass game, specific to pass protection, pass coverage, pass rush, and throwing the football. And so knowing that this is going to be a little bit more competitive, just wanted to give us a week away. And then that last week going into the offseason is to not be at like ramped up at this point, to kind of be, all right, let's get our good work here and then just kind of ramp it down a little bit next week in order more so for sports science, rest and recovery.
Yeah, Mamba this, Mamba that. There's a lot. That's the new buzzword down there. Okay, the Mamba mentality, and they're playing reps in like 3-play sets. He was talking about, so, and they're focusing more on the process, not the result, and all that, those kind of things. But we kind of gloss over them and roll our eyes a little bit when we hear that kind of stuff, Tony. But it's important when you're building, the foundation of the team. I would say, based on some of the text line feedback today, maybe they should have worked on that pass protection stuff a lot last week instead of next week. I'm sure they're doing it every single day. Now, let's get into some specifics. What are some examples that Grant Yudinsky can give from what he's seen in terms of Trevor Lawrence's growth in the Liam Cohen offense?
I mean, there's a lot of examples where he's able to go out there and execute something at a high level without having to maybe go through it beforehand or talk through it with the offense, talk through it with the backs or tight ends. So it's not just him, it's really everybody. But, for example, the other day he goes out and makes a protection call that we haven't called or really gone through with the group in months because it hadn't really been since the season, the fall. And he goes out there and calls it, and the guys are able to execute it really without us going through things, which I love because then I turn around and get to tell those guys, see, this is proof you don't need coaches. I don't need to tell you guys anything. You guys should be able to execute on your own without us doing anything. But that was encouraging just to see him go out there and kind of pick up right where we left off in the fall without us going through something.
All right, hold on here. I'm just listen carefully to what I'm about to say. I'm not saying this guy is that guy, but you know what that reminded me of? Remind me when you hear about Tom Brady would call something in week 14 that they hadn't practiced since the offseason, and the New England Patriots would go out there and execute it because he saw something that the defense was giving him. And again, I'm just saying that's a good step in the right direction. That's what you want.
You don't have that play in week 14 unless everybody's comfortable with doing it.
And unless everybody is mentally prepared that it's not just what we specifically worked on this week, that you can go into the well and say, hey, guys, we know how to run this. And this is what they're showing us. This is what we're going to do right here. And I thought that was pretty fascinating, honestly.
Absolutely. Robert Hainsey, the center going into year 2 here in Jacksonville, he was kind of brought in, it felt like, last offseason as a coach on the field. He had played in Liam Cohen's offense before, right? So he was comfortable with what it was going to look like as they were trying to get a brand new offense installed with everything going on with that. Well, Trevor Lawrence seemed to really pick it up in the back half of his first year in that offense. Robert Hainsey yesterday was asked about Trevor and what he looks like going into year 2 in Liam Cohen's offense.
Yeah, I think we saw it, especially just throughout the last season. You saw him grow. I think I talked about it ad nauseum, honestly. It came up a lot, and I was very honest when I said, like, his growth has been a catalyst for our improvement as a team. And I think over the course of this offseason, he's taken even more steps. So when we got out here on the grass, you hit the ground running. Like I said, we started with those basics and fundamentals, but we all know what we're doing. We're all professional football players, and we're trying to compete every day, and that comes out. Just the knowledge we have, it filters out once you're out there, and sometimes you're just playing football. Even if it's not something we talked about this spring, but it's something we've had before, those things will come out, and we're just playing football. That's the knowledge we have. That's the baseline we have from doing it for a year already.
All right, plenty more on the offense. Going to take a quick time out here. Stay on time. And when he said ad nauseum, Tony, did that remind you of anybody that you and I know who used to say ad nauseum and thought he was being really a smart guy? I'm not going to mention who that was. Tony might know who that is. So we'll come back more on Trevor Lawrence and the connection with Brian Thomas Jr. That's been part of the big buzz around off-season workouts, OTAs, and now into minicamp. And Liam Cohen commented on it again yesterday. So we'll hear that leading things off as we get into our next portion of the program here on Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for DraftKings Sports, which is live in all 50 states. That includes, let me guess, Florida. That's right, Florida. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. You got group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time, heartbreak, and it's all happening on the DraftKings Sports app. It's live in Florida right now, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every single moment, all in one app. Right here in Florida, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 1010XL, spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code 1010XL in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim, issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
Jaguars today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
It's Men's Health Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you that early detection matters for prostate health. If you're over 40, now's the time to get checked. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. So don't wait. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars today, Wednesday.
Hacker here for Cornerstone Interior Solutions. If your AC is working overtime every summer, your insulation may be the problem. Homeowners and builders across Northeast Florida are calling Cornerstone to upgrade to spray foam insulation. It seals homes, crawl spaces, garages, blocking in cool air and blocking out heat. So your home stays cooler, your system runs easier, and your energy bills stay under control. Don't wait for peak heat. Visit CornerstoneInteriorSolutions.com.
What's happening, folks? It's your main man, E.T. And if you want to witness the world's biggest soccer tournament in person, look no further than Twin Peaks. Enter the Twin Peaks Go for Gold giveaway presented by Michelob Ultra and Casamigos, and you could be one of 5 grand prize winners who gets the VIP treatment plus travel and lodging. For your chance to win unmatched views of the match, visit TwinPeaksSoccer.com to enter and choose your host city. Entries close on June 14th, so don't wait. Twin Peaks. Eat, drinks, scenic views.
Ready to put your dream car in drive? Get solid rates for the road ahead when you finance with First Florida Credit Union. Enjoy competitive low rates, up to 90 days of no payments, and budget-friendly protection plans. Whether you're buying a vehicle or refinancing, stop by a branch or apply online at firstflorida.org/autoloans. Membership eligibility required. Interest accrues during loan payment deferral period. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit firstflorida.org/autoloans.
First Tee North Florida's Summer Soiree returns Thursday, June 11th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Yards. This year's theme is Stars, Stripes, and Summer Nights. Bring the whole family for live music, games, raffles, activities for all ages, and great food. One food voucher included with every ticket provided by Taco Lou. Adult tickets are $30. Kids 5 to 17 are $20, and kids under 5 are free. Upgrade to VIP for $60 with beer, wine, and liquor included. Get tickets now at firstteenorthflorida.org/events.
College football isn't just a season, it's a sisterhood. Bold Ladies is the women's membership group of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, where community, connection, and college football come together. This is Stacy from 1010XL, and I enjoy my membership. From exclusive events to networking, philanthropy, and unforgettable game day experiences, Bold Ladies is where women make an impact. Visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and join today.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Now's the perfect time to order logo coffee mugs or maybe a logoed stick brand tumbler. They're seriously ice cold and look great with your company logo. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
I saw Travis Holmes tweeting out this morning, Tony, at 11 on 11s. Trevor and Brian Thomas hooked up on like a 15-yarder with Monteric Brown in coverage, and very encouraging as the signs continue to point to a resurgent season for one Brian Thomas Jr. Yes. And That's really, I mean, as much as anything, and we've heard a lot of good things. It's not like we haven't heard great stuff about Parker Washington along the way, but I think this is needed for Brian's psyche, for the fans' psyche, for the team's general outlook overall. By the way, question of the day is out there, Tone. Why don't you give the phrasing, if you would, how we put it, since we're talking specifically about the wide receivers?
We're asking which of these wide receivers' production and role would be the most difficult for the team to replace this season, and your options are the top 4 on the depth chart: Travis Hunter, Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas Jr., and Parker Washington.
Okay. And what are the early results looking like?
It's kind of split right now between Jacoby and Parker. It was what it looks like at the top.
Interesting to me. I thought we'd get a little bit more in the Brian Thomas direction. So you can vote there.
Yeah, I saw everyone, if you've been on X at all, yesterday coming out of practice and going into day 2 of the mandatory minicamp, the catch that Brian Thomas made going up, like climbing the ladder and making that catch. I saw John Shipley reacting to it and saying something along the lines of, maybe the best practice catch I've seen Brian Thomas make. Right? Like that kind of thing. It's at least in the short list of those kind of moments for Brian in practice, and I do think we're going to hear from Coach talking about that connection, with the deep connection between he and Trevor seeming to show up, in this offseason, especially compared to what he saw from him last year, at this time of year. And it's all positive signs. And again, today, it sounds like they connected on one deep one. They just missed on another at practice already this morning. So it does seem that there is something developing there. What does that look like when we get the pads on? We don't know.
Right. And when you say, what does it look like when we get the pads on? Will the protection hold up to give you the time to take these deep shots? And that's a legitimate question still to be answered for this Jacksonville Jaguar offensive line and offense as a whole. All right. So with that being said, Liam Cohen yesterday was asked about the hookup, as you laid it out very well, between Trevor and Brian Thomas, particularly with the deep ball.
I would say we've probably hit more of those in these OTAs and minicamp than we did of all last season or last offseason combined. That's being the spring and training camp. I would say we've probably hit more of those than last year combined, which is a good thing. It's something that we wanted to emphasize. We started to emphasize it more, after the bye, was in terms of trying to push the ball down the field more. And that chemistry with those two is so important, because if we can be explosive with those down the field routes, being able to push the ball down the field with those two specifically, well, man, I mean, now it truly unlocks what everybody else can do, not only just what he and BT are able to do. It helps Brent Strange, it helps Parker Washington, it helps Jacoby Myers, and it helps the run game. Because now it's like, okay, if we keep throwing over your head, now maybe you have to play more 2 high safeties, be able to lean coverage.
All right, 2 things here. One, we look prescient by leaning into those stats on Brian Thomas, right? Last year, when you looked at weeks 11 through 18, he was the leader in air yards per target in the National Football League. He went from 12.5 basically to 17.5 from the first half to the second half of the season. But Tony, the thing that jumps off the screen, page, audio, whatever, the dial at me on that is they've already hooked up on more of those deep shots successfully than all of last season, including training camp combined. I mean, again, Brian Thomas did not have a spectacular offseason last year, but that really kind of encapsulates just how bad it may have been and how it seems to be turning around right now.
And this is the time of year where a lot of the conversations that we're going to have, that I'm going to have certainly about the team, is about what I think is best for the team going into the season, right? Like what it needs to look like in my eyes for it to be as good as it can be going into the season, as opposed to having to adjust. And Brian Thomas turning into that guy, nothing better.
Tony would vote for Brian Thomas in today's poll, but he's the one who posted it, so he couldn't vote in today's poll.
I talked about it the last couple of weeks when we've had guys that we've talked to that have had the opportunity to be out there at practice, and they've talked about this connection with Brian Thomas Jr., what it's looked like compared specifically to last offseason, right, for the football team. I don't think there's anything to be more excited about in the Jaguars ecosystem right now as far as going from 25 to 26 than Brian Thomas might be getting back to that rookie form or better, right? As far as the connection with Trevor Lawrence specifically, I don't think there can be a more positive development at this time of year than that connection looking like it works.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, and I'm glad you said that connection.
Yes.
Because it's Trevor Lawrence as well. That's the most important thing of all. Even if Brian Thomas fell off a cliff, as long as Trevor is throwing pinpoint passes, we've got options out there, but it's that connection between the two of them that really elevates.
Yeah, it makes the offense as dangerous as it can be in the pass game as Brian Thomas Jr. being that threat down the field for the football team. We know what we saw last year in the back half of the season as well from Parker Washington when he got to be a more featured player, right, in the Jaguars pass game. And that obviously paid big dividends for them. It paid big dividends that Brian Thomas Jr. was able to threaten the deep part of the field. It opened things up for guys like Parker Washington. And in regard to that, Coach talked about yesterday that Parker has earned a lot of trust based on the way that things looked for him last year in his first season in Cohen's offense.
Yeah, a ton. I think he's a guy that every play he comes back and, has communication, what he sees out there, the relationship between, he and Trevor has continued to grow and develop. And then for us as coaches, his toolbox of being able to play inside, play outside, run routes at all three levels. And I think his football knowledge has just continued to ascend. What he knows he's seeing pre-snap to what the coverage does, maybe post-snap, how people and leverages change throughout some coverages. I just think his overall knowledge is really elevated over the last year, and so that makes it a lot easier to work with somebody and to trust them that they're going to do the right thing come game day.
All right, we'll circle back to Parker coming up next segment. But before we hit the break here, just one more from Liam Cohen on the contested catches he saw being completed yesterday.
It was nice to see some guys make some contested catches, something that, early in the year last year we struggled with. We improved upon that as the year went. Nice to see BT go up over the middle and make a heck of a play. And I mentioned Josh Cameron, and it was good to just see guys go compete when the ball's in the air and make some plays.
Yeah, he mentioned Josh Cameron in a cut that you won't hear, but also had a lot of praise for C.J. Williams. So we'll discuss those two young guys and their impact on the wide receiver room coming up in a minute. We'll also go around the National Football League, and we'll hear what Liam Cohen had to say about Tanner Koziel, the rookie tight end, making plays in camp. All that and more coming up in just a few moments here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Feel the roar and chase the wind to victory lane.
Through 3 and 4.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway.
3 wide for the lead. 1 lap to go.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on your NASCAR station. 1010XL.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why we are North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. KeyBuickGMC.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
Frank Frangie here with Coach Delaney from Coil Fencing. For years, your offenses have been putting up a lot of yards and points at Fletcher. I hear Coil also gains a lot of yards in the fence world.
Yes, Frank. Coil Fencing has been serving the Jacksonville community and general contractors for 99 years. We fence tens of thousands of commercial and residential yards, all while maintaining an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
99 years?
That's right. Some might call it a dynasty.
To schedule your appointment, visit CoilJax.com. That's COYLE Jax.com.
Want to stretch that dollar? Taylor Doll here to help save you money with the Money Pages magazine and app. Trying to figure out dinner? Money Pages has deals at your favorite local restaurants. Need auto repairs or an oil change? Money Pages has coupons to help you save. Looking to do some home improvement projects? Money Pages has deals on everything home, from AC repair and plumbing to flooring and painting. Check your mailbox for Money Pages today and download the app for savings on the go.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week and weekend at VyStar Ballpark. Tomorrow is Country Karaoke Night and Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Friday, they'll light up the night sky with a post-game drone show. And Saturday, join them for a beach bag giveaway courtesy of Ascension St. Vincent's. Followed by Princess Day on Sunday at 2:05. Get your tickets now at jackshrimp.com. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, pal. Where have you been?
Out on the town, every night.
Way to go, Tiger.
Well, it's a bit of a mystery, Jason. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm getting all these Visa gift cards in the mail. I'm spending them as fast as I can, but...
Wait, you're getting random gift cards in the mail?
$25, $100. I'm buying drinks, I'm buying dinner. I don't think I'm cut out to be a social butterfly, Jason.
Pal, those are from our Bueller Air and Plumbing referral program.
They are?
Yeah. If you recommend Bueller Air and Plumbing to a friend or family member and they book us for a service call, we send you a $25 Visa gift card as a thank you. And if we install a new system, we send a $100 gift card.
So if I take a girl out and tell her about Bueller, I might get enough to take another girl out and tell her about Bueller?
I mean, it's not the worst idea you've had.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, so was there a hockey game on CBS last night? I don't know what
channel it was on, but I know Game 4 of the finals was last night.
CBS is on one of our TVs in the studio, and I would think there probably was sports related. So we're too lazy to change it, right? And because one of them's got ESPN. I don't know what difference does it make. It's 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking at the Let's Make a Deal audience, and I'm telling Tony, man, I feel like these people don't go all out on the costumes like they used to.
Yeah.
And so it reminded me, as Tony knows, RJ, Match Game, old Match Game is my favorite TV show of all time. The Gene Rayburn in the 70s version with his overly long microphone, right?
Yep.
So I wake up this morning, and we always sleep with the TV on, and Match Game is on. And Gene Rayburn asks the young lady, okay, here's the question, and I don't have it verbatim, word for word, something along the lines of Captain Hook decided to get into a new profession. He wanted to become a waiter, so he changed his hook to a blank. What would he change his hook to, RJ?
Spatula.
A spatula. Tony, what would Captain Hook change his hook to as he wanted to be a waiter?
Like a dining plate, like a serving platter.
A serving platter.
Yeah.
Some people will call that a tray.
Yeah.
Right? The lady goes, a knife. And literally all 6 of them wrote tray down. All 6 of them wrote tray down.
Right.
You know, what restaurant is RJ going to where the waiter is walking around with a spatula?
Right.
I'd like to know,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh, see, I forgot the key word, waiter.
Waiter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Key word. Okay.
Keyword waiter.
I thought was working at a restaurant. I'm like, oh,
He wanted to be a waiter, and she said a knife. Like he's going around stabbing people or
Yeah.
something, or cutting your
Yeah.
bread for you.
Yeah, he already had a hook.
All 6 of them said tray, as they should. And I'm laying there. I didn't realize Heather was awake yet. I just said, idiot. And she goes, what, the ladies who said knife? I say, exactly. Exactly. So there you go. Peek inside the brain. Why don't we go around the NFL, get ourselves back on pace here.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Indianapolis head coach Shane Steichen said on Tuesday that quarterback Daniel Jones will participate in everything except 11-on-11 work at Colts minicamp this week. Cincinnati has created $10 million in cap space after restructuring the contract for quarterback Joe Burrow. They used a little bit of that money to get their second-round pick signed just yesterday after that got done. Dallas center Matt Hennessy is expected to start training camp on the team's PUP list after needing to undergo neck surgery. Cleveland head coach Todd Monken said that he does not expect to name a starting quarterback after the team's minicamp this week. Shedeur Sanders got most of the reps with the ones on Monday. Deshaun Watson got those reps at practice yesterday. Cleveland guard Joel Bitonio has announced his retirement after a 12-year career. Bitonio was a second-round pick by the Browns in 2014. He was selected as a first-team All-Pro twice, a second-team All-Pro 3 other times, and a Pro Bowler 7 total times. And Los Angeles Rams offensive tackle Alaric Jackson was arrested on a domestic violence charge on Monday night.
Right, which is terrible, right? And if it's true, I don't know. But Alaric Jackson, see the contract he's playing under? He's making crazy buku money. I was like, whoa. By the way, speaking of the Rams, you see the cap hits on the newly readjusted Myles Garrett deal?
No.
Cap hit this year is less than $9 million. It's like the first couple of years, like collectively, are less than $25 million. Damn, man. Cap is magic.
Like every now and then something happens and you're like, oh yeah, the salary cap is kind of fake.
It really, I mean, there are ways around it.
Yeah, you can kind of manipulate it. It's not that it's fake, but you have to play the game.
If you don't have a pile of dead money, which the Jags inherited a pile of dead money this year, right? Some by their own volition, like you let Tyson Campbell go, you trade him, and you had some dead money.
They chose to do what they did with Ingram.
Yes, and so you take that hit to clear up the cap. They were not hyper aggressive bringing in, free agents. Obviously, that goes without saying. By the way, you see what Batonio said about Johnny Manziel in his thing? Because Batonio was the second round pick. Yeah. Manziel was the first. He said, I learned what not to do, or basically from Manziel. Like, oh, man, just low-hanging fruit, bro. I mean, Manziel just taking shots. Manziel, career record for win-loss record, RJ. What do you got for Johnny Manziel?
10-14. I don't know.
2-6. 2-6. So only got 8 starts out of him. And as the legend has it, Haslam was influenced by a homeless man in the street the morning of the draft who said, "Draft Manziel," and he took it as a sign. That's the legend.
That he needed to be put in a...
should be the guy they took with their first round pick.
Right, yeah, but maybe put him in a rehabilitation center, maybe something. Right. I don't know.
Draft Manziel and
little did he know that guy's been saying that for 15 years and no one knew what he meant.
Right, and it finally kind of clicked and it all made sense at that moment. All right, we're getting far afield here. One piece of audio, then we want to get back to the wide receiver room. The tight end position, Tanner Koziel has been noticeable, particularly around the end zone, and Liam Cohen was asked about the plays he's made in camp so far.
Yeah, today I thought last week he made a few plays in the red zone. The one when we were in that, I don't know if you guys were here, he made a couple of good plays in the red area last week. And then again today, just being able to, the wingspan, right? It's like when the field gets shorter and tighter down there, well, what can we use to our advantage is height and length and being able to put the ball up for guys. And that's something that really showed on his college tape. It showed up at the Senior Bowl. And look, who knows what that equals in the NFL, right? But I have seen a relationship and chemistry with he and the quarterbacks is starting to get there. I know, he's a little banged up early in OTAs and just in terms of not being able to go full go, but you trust guys that can catch the football and put the ball in different places that maybe they're covered, but they're not all the way covered when you can put it up for them.
And again, it kind of goes back to the person who texted in earlier, if Borkature misses time, does that mean Koziel's running with the first team? And again, the whole first team, second team designation, put that aside. I think right now you just heard the specific role they have in mind for Tanner Koziel. I don't know how often you're going to see him between the 20s at all in his rookie year,
Yeah, look, it makes sense, right? With the kind of things that they want to do now.
What is he, 6'7"?
Something in that kind of range. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he's a big guy. Like, I know he's, and obviously if coach is going to talk about his length and the kind of advantages they can get with his size, in these different parts of the field, why wouldn't they use it? For a team that's trying to get better, basically when they get down in those kind of the red zone situations, they want to be able to run the ball more and create more mismatches in the pass game. Makes sense that you would want to bring in a guy like that to be that kind of role if they're going to use him to do anything.
6'7", 250 is what they list him as.
Okay.
So, biggest guy on in the tight end room, at least. Anyway, smallest guy, Quentin Morris, is only 6'2". But regardless, I mean, that is a specific role that they have. Doesn't mean he's going to, score 8 touchdowns as a rookie, but he could be that guy that develops into that. And if he becomes a more capable blocker, then as his career goes along, he can be brought in to, play more of a varied role. Just want to circle back on the Parker Washington stuff. A lot of praise for him. He's not done anything to disappoint, I think, this offseason, Tone. But if you heard Liam Cohen, and it's a cut, he went through a whole bunch of different little things, and so it wasn't specifically about C.J. Williams, but he's like, man, C.J. Williams probably leads his team in catches this offseason. Now, he's playing in a lot of different, with a lot of different groups, so he's getting more opportunities than some guys, but I've heard a lot of positivity about C.J. Williams. Like, we really expect this guy to be a player. Josh Cameron just finally showed up on the practice field because he's been banged up. They drafted Cameron higher, right? And so they love him as well. Does, at any point, if these guys continue to show out, does this have any kind of impact on the Parker Washington contract negotiation?
When we talked about it early in the week, right, I think we talked a little bit about the contract extension for Parker. What was it, Monday?
I think we looked at it more in the context of the top guys they had, though.
and I think in my mind, it's all these different factors that could play into when that deal gets done. Right. And Parker, I think the Jaguars are willing to make an offer because they want to keep Parker Washington, but it's not going to be what you perceive to be the market quote value for Parker to be right now. Is he willing to take something that I think would need to be a little bit more team friendly?
Would you what is team friendly? What's the number on an average annual value basis?
Somewhere in like the 15, 16 to 17.
Boy, that would be team friendly.
Yeah.
If you put 3 years, $60 million, 35 guaranteed to Parker Washington, does he take that? 20 million average?
Maybe.
I think I'd have to think long and hard about it if I'm Parker Washington, man, because you might lead the team in receiving again and have another 850-yard season. And what is that worth on the open market? It all depends. All it takes is one, right? As we saw, Christian Watson hasn't had an 850-yard season. He's got a $100 million deal with Green Bay.
Right.
It's a fascinating little negotiation.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I think there is the potential for, if Brian Thomas Jr. turns back into the Brian that they had his rookie year or better, right? There's the flexibility for the Jaguars for now. They have to figure out what's it going to look like to pay Brian, right? And they could start thinking about that next offseason. It doesn't have to happen. By the time that they have to pay Brian, they can be done with Jacoby. Right? Like that kind of thing can be done. So it's not like any of this stuff. The Parker one, if they're going to do it, needs to be done now. Is the situation that they're in. If they want to get it done long term, I wouldn't be surprised that they're willing to make an offer that is somewhere more in that $17 million range to get it done now. And Parker bets on, no, I think I'm going to try.
And quite frankly,
it's fair.
Just because we're not hearing about it on a day-to-day basis doesn't mean this stuff is not going on behind the scenes. So as James Gladstone said earlier in the offseason, Brenton Strange, Parker, the next guy's up after Trayvon. All right, we got to take a time out here. We'll come back. What about the run game? How's that looked out at Minicamp and OTAs so far? Liam Cohen and Grant Udinsky weighing on that and more. Coming up next in Hour 2 on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
The offensive line developing into a good one, and Tony Baselli, a star. He is imposing. Coleman, Wydell, Tilsky, Searcy, who was in the Super Bowl with the Steelers last year.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Helping you over the hump. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weight Loss Wednesday continues on Jaguars Today.
Homeowners, is your home storm ready? Now during the storm season sale at Renewal by Anderson, you buy one window or door and get one 40% off. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. There's never been a better time to protect your home before the next storm. But this offer ends June 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Soccer fans, it's time to grab a Modelo Especial and watch the World Cup. This is Joe C. Come join XL Primetime at Casa Maria and Jax Beach Thursday to kick it all off and then stay for the match. Modelo specials and giveaways all at Casa Maria, Jax Beach Thursday.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Hacker here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You know, the summer is here. In fact, I'm out on a little vacation right now with my family, and that's one of the great things about Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I talk about the coaching you get on Awaken 180. You know, some weight loss programs, what do, right? They just send you some shots. They say, all right, work it out. They send you an appetite suppressant, some sort of pill. All right, you're on your own. Not Awaken 180. You talk with your coach. Like my coach, Kate, every time I was on vacation, every time I had a family get together, we worked up a plan. We worked up something for me to follow, and then I would get right back on the program when I returned from vacation. It's one of the great things about Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and it's why I lost over 100 pounds. It's the best weight loss program I was ever on. They know life happens, but they work with you, and it's great. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and when warm weather is here, we got to take advantage of it. Greg, what does Honda have, especially for beach weather?
It's riding season. Full line of small motorcycles, scooters, you name it, they've got it. We also have a full line of Vespa scooters in stock and ready to ride to the beach today.
If you log on cyclesofjacksonville.com, they've got it all?
Got it all. Cyclesofjacksonville.com. Come and see us there or on the showroom.
Atlantic and Regency, check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now is the moment we've been waiting for. With new treatments emerging in the fight against Alzheimer's and dementia, now is the time for hope and action. Held in over 600 communities nationwide, the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's is the world's largest fundraiser for care, support, and research to fight the disease. So get out, get moving, and join the Walk to End Alzheimer's, November 7th, downtown Jacksonville. Join the movement at alz.org/Jacksonville.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by USA Park Airport Parking. Jag head coach Liam Cohen is clear on this week's OTA focus.
Heavy emphasis on the pass game, pass protection, pass coverage.
Florida State recruiting stays hot. Four-star wideout Sean Green commits to the Noles over Georgia and Virginia. First place Tampa Bay Rays are at home this afternoon against the Red Sox. At your 1010XL local sports update, I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 82 degrees at 11:04. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
I feel like today's show's flying by for some reason. Right? It just does. I don't know why. Anyway, practice is over, and Tom McMahon is going to join us in about 10 or 12 minutes for a quick recap from his bird's eye view of what he saw. One of the 5,000 members of 1010XL, I'm sure, that were in attendance out at mandatory minicamp. But today, open to the public. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're just getting in your car, welcome into Jaguars Today. We spent the first hour talking a lot about the Jaguars passing game through the eyes of Liam Cohen and Grant Udinski. Tony, let's talk a little about the running game. Udinski asked yesterday on the improvements he's seen from year 1 to 2 from Basil Tootin.
He's elevated with some of the things we expect of him with the ball in his hands and the creativity with which he runs the ball, processing some of the reads that we have in the run game that we've kind of tried to tweak and adjust to help him and fit his style a little bit more. But he's also improved from a mental standpoint in the protection game and the pass game. So there's so many phases to being a running back that he's continued to elevate really through his studying and through all the extra work that he puts in. Him and the entire room, they do a great job with Coach Morton of doing so much extra on their own to try to be out here and prepared for practice. But not only that, to grow and develop, like we talked about, the knowledge of football and just recognizing defenses, the way certain fronts are going to play out against certain runs. His anticipation of that will help him. Maybe it doesn't always show up here in the spring, but it'll really show up once we put pads on.
Yeah, I think there's this perception that every third down is going to be handled by LaQuint Allen. That's not going to be the case. Now, maybe in a 2-minute drill type situation, that will be the case. But but if it's 3rd and 7, and Basil Tootin's your best breakaway threat, if he can handle the responsibility of protecting Trevor Lawrence and he can catch the ball well enough out of the backfield, he's still an more explosive element to me with the ball in his hands than LaQuint Allen. If he continues along this pace, he's going to take some of that third down work.
You would think, and again, it's these pictures in my head of what's best for the team going into 2026. And in my mind, what's best for the team is for Tootin to squeeze all the oxygen out of the running back room, right? Like for the coaches to be looking for reasons to have Tootin on the field, right? Like I think that's where the Jaguars will be their most dangerous if he can earn, that kind of role in the Jaguars offense in a similar way to what Achane did last year in the Jaguars backfield. Doesn't mean that Tootin didn't get looks. Doesn't mean the other running backs didn't have roles in the offense, but that's what they were. Roles.
Right.
For the other guys in the running back room. But, Tootin has to earn those kind of opportunities. And at least Udinski's saying what he's saying there. Seems like he's more moving in that direction right now with the way that they're putting things in, which is good news in my mind. Liam Cohen, look, it's hard enough for us to tell how good or bad the offensive line is when everything is pads on, in game. Like, I can't tell exactly. The mistake is, the quarterback got hit. Bad job.
Right. Then you go back, oh, yeah, he whiffed on that block.
Right, like that kind of thing. I can tell those kind of results, but the coaches obviously have better eyes for all these kind of things. But even Liam Cohen is willing to admit it's hard to evaluate these guys on the offensive line right now without the pads to help them.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I just know that the chemistry and continuity's been there, and it's been good. I think, nice to see some of the young guys get some reps and be thrown into the fire and thrown into the mix. It's just always nice when you have a lot. Right now we got 9 guys that I would feel confident and comfortable putting into a game right now and say, let's go win and see what happens. And so you're building your depth right now. You're building the continuity and chemistry with the younger guys coming into the mix. And then once we get to the pads, we'll see what we actually have in terms of being able to move people and run the football.
Does Cole Van Lannon count in that 9 right now? I'm not trying to be facetious here. Like when he says 9 guys I'd be comfortable with, I wonder if he's counting him because he's not available right now, or if he's not, now I'm going to be obsessed with who's the 8th and 9th guy that he's comfortable with. 2 of them are fighting for, their spots. Liam Cohen, by the way, was asked about Emmanuel Pregnon and said, look, we're playing him on the left side right now because he played more of that in college, and we're just trying to ease him in. But you can play these back-to-back, RJ, these next 2 cuts. These are from Robert Hainsey, who's been working, obviously, side-by-side with Pregnon and Wyatt Milam, was asked about how those 2 young guards are coming along.
Eman's done great. He's super hungry to get better, which is awesome. He's meeting extra. He's asking the right questions. He's a physical and smart football player. So it's been fun to get to know him, and the other rookies, they've done a great job so far. I think Wyatt's done a great job this spring. Same thing, like playing offensive line as a rookie is very difficult. There's a lot going on. The game happens close, it happens fast, and it's way different than college. The players are better, things are faster, and you have to get used to that. Wyatt did that early on and just kept getting better. So this spring, he's kind of come out, and he's just so much more comfortable. So it's been really fun to play next to him at times and see him compete and see the way he's handling himself, and his understanding of the game has improved a ton, and I'm super proud of that.
Yeah, one other thing that Cohen said about that, just these guys had the versatility. They could play different positions, and particularly I think with Milam, potentially can play some tackle for you as well, Tone. But if you really just listen, like he was asked, and these were two different responses. He was asked about Pregnon, then he was asked about Milam. This is Hainsey here that you just heard, and he was a little bit more effusive on Wyatt Milam, and it goes back to, we had a lot of people early on right after the draft, Pregnon's going to be the starting left guard or whatever, and I felt all along, if one of those guys is going to earn a starting job, it's going to be Milam, because you can't replicate that first year of indoctrination in one off season, and he is so far ahead right now. Even though he was hurt coming out of training camp, he's still got to practice, still got to be around it, still got to play a little in the National Football League. I think Pregnon's got a lot of catching up to do in that regard.
I think that's likely to be the case, right? It would be wonderful if Pregnon came in and it's undeniable.
Oh, sure. If it's undeniable,
like
it's undeniable.
But taking a look at how it looks going into it, I'm with you. I think Milam's the more likely of the two to win a starting job this year for the football team. And again, going back to this theme of best for the Jaguars, I think it's best for the Jaguars if he is. If Milam is able to win a spot somewhere on the offensive line as a starting offensive lineman for him going into year 2, I think that's better for the team so that they can make a guy like McCary a flex guy.
The Swiss Army knife for basically your primary backup across the entire line, potentially. Maybe not, like if Cole Van Lanen's 100%, maybe it would still be Walker Little backing up left tackle or the tackle positions, but you at least have that flexibility with McCary. We'll see. He's got to earn it, Wyatt Milam or Emmanuel Pregnon for that matter.
No doubt.
Tommy Mack earned his spot with the Jaguars, and we'll talk about what he saw out there in mandatory minicamp today. He'll join us next on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Southern hospitality, sandy shores, and smiling faces. There's no place like home. Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey guys, Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup. That's exactly why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. Get a quote today, thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
The World Cup is a big deal. It only comes around every 4 years. Keep up with all the scores and highlights. Score World Cup soccer updates on 1010XL. Assisted by Houston's Meats and Valvoline Instant Oil Changes.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Have you been thinking about selling your home and you haven't pulled the trigger? Let me tell you about Chad and Sandy and the experts that will help you make that decision. Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building, so now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Need to sell now, need to sell fast, need max price. Check, check, check. Chad and Sandy have the science behind it. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jonathan writes from Mount Pleasant. The only thing standing between me and my dream of hitting the road in my RV was selling my Mount Pleasant home. After hearing Chad and Sandy on the radio, I gave them a call. The results were unreal. In just 3 days, I had multiple offers at full asking price. So can you. Call the local experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
ET here for Encore Research. What if the next medical breakthrough started with you? Clinical research volunteers play a vital role in helping doctors better understand diseases and develop future treatments. This summer, discover how participating in a clinical research study can advance medical breakthroughs while empowering you to take an active role in your own healthcare journey. Are you ready to learn? Check them out at EncoreDocs.com. Together, we're building a healthier future for Jacksonville.
What if your next fun day out costs you $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jacks. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience? No problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Today's restaurant of the day is Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King. It's White Meat Wednesday, so get the Flame Broiler for $2 off a white regular meat chicken bowl or plate. Available in-store only today at any of the 5 Flame Broiler locations.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, you typically hear Tom McManus every Friday on Jaguars Today throughout the year. He's going to be off this Friday, but he's on today, coming fresh off of mandatory minicamp. Tommy Mack, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Oh, we're
Happy
doing well.
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you, man. I couldn't make this one of the few mini camps I have not been able to get to with the rehab situation going on. So just give us a little feel for the atmosphere. What was the crowd like out there?
The crowd was great, totally packed, totally into it. They were cheering like crazy. It was the Brian Thomas Jr. show. Probably 3 or 4 catches down the field, beautiful throws, beautiful catches. Brian Thomas, I tell you, man, I know it's early, but he looks like he's back to his rookie season form, Mike. And they're making a conscious effort throwing that ball down the field, and man, the fans loved it, and so did I. I know you're not supposed to clap, you know, I'm so-called media, but I was clapping. I clapped every catch that he made down the field for a touchdown. I didn't care. I was like, this is great. I thought it was really awesome to see Trevor and BTJ really hook up and do it more times than once.
Yeah, I think Brian certainly qualifies as one of the chief answers for this kind of question to this point in the offseason for the Jags, Tommy. But in your eyes, based on the practices you've been able to see, have your expectations for any player changed based on what you've seen the last few weeks, including today?
I tell you, like, a guy that's really kind of catching my eye is that Zach Durfee out of Washington. He's got a tremendous first step out of his stance, and he gets upfield really quick with that step. He's shown some really natural pass rushing ability. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Jabbar Muhammad, defensive back, continues to make plays. Made a couple good ones today, including an interception off a tip ball that was slightly behind Williams, a wide receiver. It hit off his hands and into the arms of Jabbar Muhammad, but guys like that just making plays. I tell you, I mentioned Brian Thomas Jr. on the offensive side. You know who's got a little pass rush in him on the defensive side? Brian Thomas Jr. It's crazy, but he does. He's got some. Yeah, he's interesting. I want to see him play a little bit more, but he gets out there. Looks like he's got some pass rush ability as well. But overall, Tone, I would just say just seeing Brian Thomas. I mean, we've seen it at practice a couple of times, but today, I mean, I'm talking 3 or 4 deep down the field, just connections that just brought a smile to everybody's face.
And for people who may not have been following every moment of the offseason, the other Brian Thomas Jr. is a different player entirely who they signed as an undrafted free agent. So, and look, you got to flash.
With a Y, yeah.
Right, Brian with a Y. You got to flash, though, Tom, if you're going to make this team. And, you know, the Jabbar Muhammad thing is so interesting because Liam Cohen talked about him again yesterday. Like, yeah, this guy keeps making plays. Like, you know, you're going to need players like that to make internal improvement. They didn't go out and add a whole lot to the core of this roster this year. So if you're going to maintain the level or improve on the level you played at last year, that's where a lot of it's got to come from.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, listen, and Jabbar's been around for a couple of years now. He's, you know, he continues to get better, continues to make plays. So I can see why Liam Cohen was singling him out. I like this Devon Marshall kid out of North Carolina State, number 40. He made a couple plays in the red zone 11-on-11 on pass attempts. So, yeah, I agree with you, Dempsey. You got it. Look, we know injuries happen. We know we need role players, and when those things happen, you got to have guys like Jabbar Muhammad step up and fill the void as best they can. And so far, he looks the part.
What has your impression of Trevor Lawrence been going into year 2 now in Cohen's offense?
Just confidence. You know, you can see it. You can see it in the way he's throwing the football, the way he's directing things, the way he's taking his shots. I mean, the one pass, he threw a couple really nice ones, but the one pass to Brian Thomas Jr. down the right sideline was a absolutely perfect ball. It was on the outside shoulder, deep, nice rainbow ball, nice spiral, beautiful pass. But Trevor just looks like he's really confident and knows where he's going with the football, and overall just had another really good day.
Tom, we know they're not in full pads. It's not full contact. It's not what you're going to see in training camp. But the text line was abuzz with concerns about pass protection early today. There are a lot of instances where apparently Trevor would have been sacked according to, you know, people's perceptions.
Yeah.
What have you seen from that? I mean, we want the pass rush to have some success, but, you know, you want it balanced out a little bit. What have you seen in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's where it gets tricky, right? Because there was a touchdown pass in the red zone drill, and he definitely would have been sacked. There was no question about it. But, you know, those are the things you just don't know, right? So, and remember, last year, the O-line couldn't block anybody. I mean, in practice, it felt like, especially our edge guys. So, no, listen, I think overall, Trev and the O-line, you're going to look, again, like you said, it's not full pads. So O-linemen aren't finishing. They're not hanging on. You know what I mean? Like, they may give you an initial shot. They may grab you a little bit, but they're not, you know, they're not cutting you. They're not blocking at all costs. Let's leave it at that. So it does get a little tricky when you're looking at these completed throws and whatnot. And that's just the nature of the beast. You're not going to know till you know. And right now it's just got to be, something that you take the positive out of the throw, you take the catch, you take the positive out of the rush. I mean, look, they threw Ransaw on a blitz yesterday. It was absolutely beautiful. Trev completed a nice ball, but he would have definitely been hit. But again, that's where that fine line goes. So I'm not worried about any of that. I mean, listen, last year you guys were there. I mean, the tackles couldn't block Josh Hines Allen, or Trayvon Walker pretty much all camp, it felt like. So I'm not going to get too carried away about the O-line, giving up a little bit here and there. I like the fact that the timing, the throws, the receivers running the right routes, catching it with their hands. I don't think I saw a drop from the starters, especially. Maybe I know Williams dropped one over the middle. It's a little bit thrown behind him by the backup, but overall, no, it's been really good.
It appears, if you're watching it from X, which is where we can watch practice from today, obviously here in the studio, that the defense seemed to have won the 11-on-11 opportunities between defense versus offense there at a Wednesday minicamp practice. Tommy, as a player, one, does that match what you felt like you saw here the last hour and a half out there at practice? And two, as a player, what does it mean for offense or defense to win, quote-unquote, win practice, especially this time of year?
Yeah, no, the defense definitely made a bunch of plays, and they did win that red zone 11-on-11. That was the first team drill. Further down in practice, yeah, they were making plays. There's no doubt about that. I mentioned the Muhammad, interception return and that type of thing. Look, I think from that perspective, as a defender, you're saying, look, we're happy with knowing what we're doing. Guys are making plays. Guys are near the football. Guys, we're in position to make those plays. So it does matter, Tony. I mean, winning the day does matter. Winning the day as a unit, winning the day as a team, winning the day as an individual who's trying to make an impact, right? So if I'm on my cues, if I'm on my defense and I'm having a great day knocking down balls, not that I did a lot of that, but making plays, then yeah, even though it's not full pads, you're winning that day. And those days are important to catch the eye of the coaches for sure.
All right, Tommy, last one for you. On the defensive side, yesterday Liam Cohen had some high praise for Eric Murray. And, I think we kind of sometimes get caught up in the flashier safeties, the ball hawk types. But is Murray still, in your mind, kind of the key, the glue to that entire secondary going into his second year?
I guess you could say that because of, he's the long tooth veteran, if you will, been around for a long time. He knows the game, knows how to play it. He's a physical guy. But I feel like Antonio Johnson's that guy, Mike, and maybe he's not ready from a, knowing everything from a mental and just a schematic scheme point, but I think he's a star in the making. So to me, I got, and this is just my opinion, I have Antonio Johnson as one of my starting safeties all day long without question. The question is who's going to be the other one, and then who's going to be the third one. And for me, it feels like it's going to be Eric Murray and Caleb Ransaw in that way, and then maybe Caleb plays his way into a starting role. But I think it's hard to take Antonio Johnson off the field. I think he gets better and better, and he looks the part again. He looks very confident. He's got the swag. Obviously, his physicality. He's tall. He can run. He's aggressive. So to me, I feel like the secondary safety position, it's Antonio Johnson, and then whoever else ends up number two.
All right. More from you, I'm sure, on Helmets and Heels coming up in a couple of hours, Tom. Appreciate you stopping by with a bird's eye report on what happened at Mandatory Minicamp today.
Yeah, hey, great to be out there again. Once again, great to see the fans. They were all excited, and great to see the fireworks. I'm going to clap. I don't really care, but I was clapping. It was great to see those guys connect down the field.
All right, brother. We appreciate you, Tom. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
All right, buddy. There he goes. And we've been very heavily on the offensive side today because that's what a lot of the questions pertain to yesterday. You're kind of limited to hearing from what people asked about. Well, when we come back, we'll hear what Liam Cohen had to say about a couple of guys, particularly Eric Murray on the defensive side of the football and what he has seen from him this offseason and where he still fits in the Jaguars' plans. Couple segments ago. Thanks to Tom McManus. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. Soaking in summer on the First Coast. Summertime. 1010XL.
At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, care starts with listening, one-on-one consultations, clear answers, and a plan built around you. Our orthopedic surgeons, sports medicine physicians, and rehabilitation specialists work together to treat injuries, manage chronic pain, and restore strength and mobility. From your first check-in to your personalized treatment plan, everything is designed to help you move forward with confidence. Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, expert care, improving lives.
Florida's sun and storms means your roof has probably seen better days. If
you're wondering about its condition, visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com to schedule a free, no-pressure inspection. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Buying a home with a septic system? Then there's one step you absolutely cannot skip, the inspection. Know for sure before you close. Call Duck Duck Rooter, Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor with the experience to inspect your system the right way, so there are no surprises later. Right now, take $50 off a full septic system inspection, including a detailed report. The small step that can save you from a big mistake.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
When the world turns its attention to the beautiful game, the most passionate fans know the best seat in the house isn't always in the stadium. Modelo celebrates football and the world of nations playing for the cup. 48 teams, 104 games. Wherever you choose to watch, make it the best seat in the house with a Modelo Especial in hand. It's time to play for the World Cup.
What band was Peter Frampton in before he went solo? The answer coming up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowners policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The name of Peter Frampton's first band was called Humble Pie.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Preparation for the season begins now. 1010XL's coverage of this year's organized team activities is brought to you by Cash Building Material, Windows Done Right, and Dexafit Jacksonville. Know your body, transform your life.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, the golden moment. Let's hope we're not wistful for the days of the offseason. We heard about how great it was, the Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas connection, right? Because that drum beat just keeps getting louder and louder and louder along the way. McManus told you they hit that one down the sideline today. They said it was something like a 40-yarder, pinpoint accuracy. And the great thing, it wasn't just pinpoint accuracy, Tony. It was a clear catch inbounds, get the feet in, and that momentum you hope will carry over. Keep in mind, there's OTAs next week, okay? And Liam Cohen talked about it. I don't know if we played that cut or not, but like he wanted to ramp it up. This is the week where they're at high intensity. And then they're going to back off a little bit, but he didn't want to go from high intensity to nothing. And so they'll have a little bit more laid back, like an hour and 15-minute sessions on the field next week to keep them sharp. Then they had the break, the mandatory break, and come back and hopefully hit the ground running.
Specifically, like next week, it'll be a lot about the pass game.
Yes.
Like it's going to be timing in the pass game. Yeah.
I think this week he said Was that what it was? I thought they said they've been working on the pass game.
No. That was when he was answering about basically what they're going to be doing next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe that was what it was. Anyway, we spent a lot of time on the offensive side today. Offense is fun, right? But
the OC and the center were talking.
That's right. By the way, today we're going to have Coach Camp speaking after
And
practice.
Josh Hines-Allen.
So we'll hear from those guys tomorrow. It'll be a lot more on the defense. But Liam Cohen was asked about a few players on the defensive side, and specifically, I thought this was one of my favorite pieces of audio answers, what have you, yesterday on why Eric Murray is so valuable to this Jaguar defense.
It allows us to be able to move Antonio around, right? And know that in the back end we've got consistency, a guy that's going to come down and make plays in the run game, get us in the right checks and balances in the back end from a coverage standpoint. But Eric plays the game nasty. He plays this game violently. He's made some plays on the ball. He understands how to practice. He's not a guy who's going to be able to go make a play on the ball without running through the receiver. And just pros know how to stay off the ground. Pros know how to understand angles in practice to tag off and not hit people. He's a pro's pro. And I really think if he can continue to stay healthy, we're going to see a better player this year out of Eric.
Look, better player, and he was pretty good. I think he exceeded most people's expectations coming in last year.
Early part of the year, he was really, really good for them.
This is why I specifically asked Tom McManus about this, and I get what you're saying. Look, they're going to use Antonio Johnson all over the field, but to enable that, you've got to have the guy that has everything that Eric Murray embodies. I mean, I think it's pretty clear right now who the top two guys are. I think Ransaw is battling for what's left at the moment. I don't think anybody's taken Eric Murray off the field based on anything that I've heard up to this point in time.
Well, and so much of the communication on defense in the secondary, obviously, it begins with one of those safety spots. Their quarterback in the back end of the defense, right? Trying to get everybody on the same page. We know what that looked like 2 years ago. It's why they brought in Murray last year. Right, they knew they needed a voice back there that could get everybody where they were at least supposed to be right before a play was going to get rolling. It does feel like Murray was at least able to fill that kind of role, and he gives them a little bit more than that based on what you just heard from Cohen as well on the football field. So obviously, still they view him as an important piece there in the secondary for the team.
The phrase they used last year was elite communicator. And I'm sorry, but when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, but can he play? Right. Like, okay, you're a coach on the field, but what do you bring physically to the field? And you could hear it in Liam Cohen's voice. He is nasty, right? He knows he plays this game violently, right? Which is what you want, an intimidation factor as much as the rules allow that nowadays. But it's all that other stuff. He's like, when he says a veteran knows how to stay off the ground, what he's talking about is in practice in the offseason, nobody goes to the ground. You don't want anybody going to the ground unless you're making like a diving catch, something like that. You don't want people bumping guys down to the ground. It's how inadvertent injuries happen. And he's like, look, this guy is so crafty. He knows how to be in position, flash, and show you that he could have blown up a receiver without actually doing it. But I felt like it was almost admiration in his voice when he talked about how nasty and violent a player he can be. Because all that other stuff, the coach on the field stuff, they talked that up all last off season. So I think he is maybe one of the most underrated potential Jaguar starters out there. He's just Eric Murray's a good, solid guy. But, I mean, Liam Cohen, I thought, pretty effusive praise for what he brings to the table.
Certainly, it's relevant when we get to hear from Coach Cohen a lot. Right. So even when he's asked about a specific player, it doesn't always sound like that.
No.
Right. Like it really is. Right. Like that kind of thing. Coach got a little excited. It sounded like to talk about Eric Murray is what that felt like. Right. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, we've talked all offseason about what they're going to be doing at linebacker. Right. Ventrell Miller feels like the guy who's going to get the first opportunity to kind of win that linebacker spot next to Foye, and exactly what that's going to look like, the rotation for the linebacker spot. How will that look? I don't know, but Ventrell Miller, at least right now, is the guy that's getting more reps as he gets ready for season 2 under Liam Cohen as well.
Yeah, Ventrell, he's continuing to get those reps. Again, it's been different with Foye not being in there, right? And so that has put a whole onus on those other guys Ventrell, Jack, and Branson to step their game up. And I don't mean in terms of really play. I just mean alignment, assignment, communication, checks, all that stuff. So I don't think we're able to really see what Ventrell does best right now, right? This is not a setting in which we're going to feel him do what he does best, which we know is thump, stop the run, be somebody that can run sideline to sideline and come downhill. So we're trying to stress him and stress those guys in coverage a lot more this spring, and I think he's responded.
Look, these guys, we sometimes get caught up in, wow, you really went in on Ventrell Miller. He must be having a great camp. Well, he's responding to specific questions that are being asked of him, right? There was a point in the press conference where he was going through a litany of other players that have kind of stood out, and he was really praising Branson Combs and his athleticism and everything that he's doing. And man, so it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, Tony, about position battles. I don't know if this is a position. I think this is a position that's broken into multiple roles, and depending, we know what Ventrell does best. He thumps. All right. First and second down run stuffer. If it's 2nd and 15, maybe you got Branson Combs in there as a coverage linebacker. And, so keep that in mind as we play these clips. These are the coaches and players responding to specific questions that get asked of them. In fact, when they bring up a guy unprompted is probably when you want to pay a little bit more attention. But he was definitely praising Branson Combs yesterday as well. So look, everyone's happy, and I get it. They're not all going to turn out to be all pros, but in the short term, I'd rather hear this than Liam Cohen leaning into that, hey, he can go when he wants to kind of stuff, which we heard plenty of last year. I'm sure there's some of that going on right now, but it feels like they are building this roster to be a bunch of guys who are smart, who have high football character, who care about it, who, going back to what we talked about in the first hour with Grant Udinsky saying Trevor Lawrence called a protection that we hadn't used since last year, and everybody knew what to do right away. We don't need to drill it into your head every single moment. You've got a responsibility to learn this stuff on your own and to be able to execute it at a moment's notice. And again, all sunshine and rainbows in the offseason. But I think, again, this is a coaching staff that has shown you they'll call a player out when they're not playing up to stuff or practicing up to snuff, whatever the case may be. All right, one final segment to go here on Jaguars Today. We'll have that for you next on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for my friends at Dandy Foods. You know they're locally owned and operated by the Thompson family. They created Dandy way back in 1956. I've talked about Dandy, I don't know, maybe 15 years now. Personally enjoyed them since the mid-90s when I first discovered that delicious tuna salad sandwich. Dandy is the perfect go-to when you're in a hurry. You don't want the hassle of a long wait in a drive-thru. Maybe it's the hearty Italian footlong or a delicious chicken salad sandwich. You just can't go wrong. Fantastic variety and a great value compared to the drive-thru as well. Fast, fresh, always tasty, and waiting for you in the cold case at Circle K's all over town. As a matter of fact, next time you're on the west side, stop in at the Kickstart Food Store located at Commonwealth and 295 with a great offering of Dandy sandwiches, enough to satisfy even the heartiest of appetites. Great pricing as well. Fast, fresh, always delicious. When you're hungry in Duval, folks, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer. Nobody but Nimnick. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right, and they give a bunch back to the community. Visit NimnickBuickGMC.com today to learn more, or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Picking here, or maybe you should call me Dreamfinders Danny. Look what Dreamfinders is doing again, an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here. Don't wait for the first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems when high winds come around. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to backyards. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends June 30th and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 down and 0 interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let the non-commission experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy 0 interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180. Increase flexibility, strength, and endurance. Breaking 190 or even 80 could be just 40 pounds away. Results this summer with the solution for weight loss. A Waco 180, weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, final few minutes here for Jaguars today on this Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed minicamp if you were able to go out there. We'll see you out there for training camp, which I think our first open date is going to be July 29th. That's not official, but right around then. And for the first couple weeks, we're going to be a heavy presence. Let's put it that way. The Jaguars Today broadcast will be out there, and looking forward to getting some of the coaching staff and players on with us when time allows. And appreciate Tom McManus weighing in today, Tony. And I guess, again, it'll be interesting to see because it'll be more, like you said, more of a defensive shift today. Even though the Brian Thomas and Trevor Lawrence hype train continues to roll with Anthony Campanile speaking, Josh Hines Allen speaking, I think more of an emphasis on what they're trying to accomplish on that side of the ball on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt with those two guys speaking after practice, and we'll hear what they have to say. Look, Josh Hines Allen has never been shy about putting the expectations for himself out there, and I'm sure he'll be asked about some of those long-term goals today going into 2026. We already heard him on Good Morning Football, which we played a little bit of, yesterday on the program, him talking about year 2 in this defense for him. And he feels like, this is where I'm really I feel good, going into this season. I'm excited about being year 2 in Coach Camp's defense, like all these different things. He's always been a guy who talks about the expectations for himself, whether or not he's always lived up to those. Obviously, we all react to that as it happens, with Josh. And so he knows that kind of thing is out there, but it hadn't made him any more shy about saying what he expects of himself, year to year. He's been a guy that's been willing to talk about, I want to be a Super Bowl MVP.
Right.
He's willing to put that kind of thing out there as goals for himself. And
we'd like that too.
Yeah, we'd see what that sounds like today with Josh speaking to the media.
And I know we already did the golden moment, but if you're going to bridge the gap between offense and defense, the easiest way to do that is to talk about Travis Hunter, right? Who got a foot in both worlds. And if you missed it, going back to the very early portion of the show today, as Liam Cohen was asked yesterday just about injuries in general. And he just dropped in, Travis out there doing 22.6. I'm like, what is he talking about? And then it dawned on me after he said it a couple times, he was running 22.6 miles per hour, which, again, if you have a major concern at this point about the health of the knee of Travis Hunter as a coach, you're not letting it open it up full throttle, I don't think, at this point. The fastest ball carrier in the league last year, fastest player with the ball in his hands was Jonathan Taylor, who was like 22.3, you looked up earlier, right? Yeah. And there were a couple of guys maybe on special teams that hit a higher speed. Either way, you don't have to be the fastest guy in the league. If you're in the top 10 in terms of actual speed. Now, again, this is not in pads. This is not in a game situation, but it shows you here already in the month of June where Travis Hunter is not a full participant by any means in anything that they're doing in a team setting, that he can open it up like that. Let's not forget what a potential unicorn he can be to add to both sides of the ball this year.
He is. It's such a big question exactly what they're going to do with him. Obviously, going into year two, and how much is he going to play on either side of the ball compared to one another? We expect a lot more on defense. Obviously, going into this season with the way that the roster looks, but they haven't committed to anything in that regard. He is among, if not at the top of the list of just athletes in a Jaguars uniform, right? Like, he is just one of those guys. There's reasons why he won all the awards that he did in college, that he's even able to try to play offense and defense in the National Football League. It's not because it's some fluke thing. It's because he is a supremely gifted athlete, and his ability to do all these different kind of things. Hearing the 22 just makes it sound, well, it hadn't gone away.
Right.
Like the athleticism, the athlete is not gone, right? We're just getting him back in the building here very soon, and that can't be anything but good for the football team.
And I don't know what percentage, if you can even really put a percentage on how healthy he is. 91.3. I don't know. 79.2. I have no idea what he is, but I don't think he's 100%. Or we'd see him out there. And again, he continues to take the mental reps and all these different things on both sides of the ball. And there's a lot of positivity. Let's not forget he added 7 pounds of muscle so far, reportedly this offseason. So if he can maintain that kind of burst with, building his frame up a little bit, that's only a positive for the Jacksonville Jaguars moving forward. Again, tomorrow we'll shift it over more to the defensive side of the ball. But thanks for playing along today. Let's play an XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Matt Hayes in the house. Were you out at practice this morning?
I was.
How many from 10-10 roughly? 47 people? what over under on 47?
Including the interns?
Yeah. Over?
Double digit, definitely.
All right.
I do like these interns, though, because if you're an intern, your answer to everything should be yes.
Absolutely.
No matter what the question is or what you're asked.
So what do you have them doing?
I don't know. I wasn't doing it. I was just out there watching.
All right. What stood out to you? We heard Tom McManus give some of his observations earlier this hour.
I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. just really looks sharp. Again, it's not pads. So, we have to wait and see what it's like when you start, the hits start and they start doing full team period and see what happens. But he looks sharp. I think he's clearly invested in what's going on. And the crowd, I think, was really good for him today. It was a packed place, which is, 1,500 there? Is that right?
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000,
oh, yeah.
Okay. So the crowd was into every time he caught the ball. His teammates are into it every time he catches the ball.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing. It's a very positive sign, I think, with BTJ right now.
Awesome. All right, so I assume plenty on Jags mandatory minicamp. What else are you guys getting into?
Joe's got an interview with Foye Luakan, and we're going to get into a little NBA, obviously, tonight. And see RJ in there very smiling broadly with his NBA.
I'm not smiling until tomorrow. I'll let you know. And maybe not smiling tomorrow. I don't know, but I hope I'll be smiling tomorrow with a 3-1 series lead. All right, Matt, have a good show.
All right, boys.
Appreciate it. All right, Joe C., he had, who do you have? BJ Green yesterday, Foye Luakan today, and I'm sure all the shows that are out there, they're doing their own post-practice interviews, so I'm sure you're going to hear plenty throughout the course of the day that you did not get to hear this morning, but that's why you keep it on the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, that's going to do it for us. I'm going to see what kind of crazy series of dreams. I didn't even get into it today. I was Matthew McConaughey last night, and I had like a series of like 8 dreams, RJ, where I woke up in between each one, and they were all connected to the last one. And like 5 of them, I was McConaughey on the run from the law. So who knows? Who knows what today will bring? I got a full plate though, Tony. I got Yankee baseball at 1:10. We're going to watch Minority Report today with my son, and we got Knicks basketball tonight, and we'll have all that Jaguar goodie audio for you tomorrow as well. All right, for Tony Smith, for RJ Saunders, thanks to Tom McManus. I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Later days.